Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Michael Mills. I'm joined here with Naveen Kulkarni. And we're excited to guide you through today's webinar on release roadmap, as well as a few items around 2024 and events that are upcoming. So as I've stated in previous sessions, is eMaint's had over 100 enhancements to our platform and product over the past year. So we'll dive into a few standout features, like the vendor portal, which simplifies work order management for contractors, and the cycle counting tool, right? That's designed to keep your inventories accurate and your operations running smoothly. So as we walk through these updates, we'll try to highlight areas in which these can make a real difference for your team. And like I mentioned in previous areas as well, as this webinar is just the beginning of a series that we'll host over the next year. So going throughout 2025, the plan is to host these quarterly to keep you informed, drive some insights, and collaboration throughout the eMaint community. So as an agenda for this session, like I mentioned, we'll introduce ourselves in just a few seconds, but we're going to run through a few releases from 2024. There are more than a few, but we'll highlight around 3. And then we'll dive into the roadmap for 2025 and give you a brief overview of what's to come, what we're excited about, and where we're going. And then again, we'll take you through some of the news. So just to start out, myself, I'm Michael Mills. I'm the technical sales manager here with the eMaint team. I've been here for about 10 years now, at this point, a little over, working both on the services as well as our sales team. And really, I work with a team of solutions engineers, which their goal is to align requirements and needs for our customers with the eMaint solution or other integrated solutions within our portfolio. And the idea being that if there are problems out there, we'd like to hear about them and see how we can help to assist. And I'm joined today by Naveen, who I'll let introduce himself.
Thank you, Michael, and thanks everybody for your time. My name is Naveen. I'm a director of product management here at Fluke Reliability, and I'm responsible for the product roadmap and strategy for eMaint as a whole. And I'm lucky to be working with experts like Michael and the entire eMaint team who have so much knowledge of our customers, and so leverage all the experience that we have of building great products for our customers and their voice and bringing it together along with what makes sense for our business. And excited to talk about what are the new things and what are we going to deliver next. So Mike, if you want to talk about what those things would be, perhaps we could kick this off. So.
Yeah, absolutely will. But one area in which I'd like for you to highlight for us is our performance with Verdantix, which I know we got some results about a month or so ago at this point.
Yes. One of the things that we strive, eMaint's been in existence for 20 plus years, longer than I've had a job. But what I'm very proud of the fact is the reason that we continue to be an industry leader, validated by independent analysts, is the fact that we're always focused on 3 different things. One is our customers, delivering a platform that meets the needs of majority of our customers, and also delivering last mile functionality, industry specific functionality, things, extensions like mobile, which are a core part of our roadmap strategy and requirements. And that's evident by the fact that we are recognized as a leader by the recent Verdantix Green Quadrant, and that's a recognition not only for the partnership we have with our customers, but also the dedication of our internal employees to serve our customers as well. So I'm excited that eMaint continues the momentum that it does this year, and we will do so next year as well. So.
Perfect. Now, I'll take it from here. We have about 3 areas that I'll highlight, and then we'll talk through some of the other updates as well. But part of the purpose of a session like this is to show you areas that we're really excited about that have come out within the eMaint system. We have tons of updates that come out, and one of the areas that we think is the strongest is around the vendor portal. That was actually released about 3-4 months ago at this point. So if we start out with the basics, thinking of the vendor portal, right? The vendor portal, managing vendors feels like herding cats, if we're being honest. Digging through emails, juggling contracts, figuring out who's available, who's assigned to what, and really what's the status of work that we're looking to assign out. So what we want to do with the vendor portal is simplify all of that, where eMaint can act as a centralized hub where everything you need about vendors, right? So contracts, certifications, performance metrics, right, are all sitting in one place. So instead of wasting time hunting for information, we want to have all of that information in one place to make it easy. And on top of that, have the vendor portal as an extension. And I'll show you how it looks in just a few moments. So taking it further than just the organization piece of the vendor portal, it's all about communication. So forget about going back and forth via email. I think everyone's experienced that. Email back and forth. What's the update? Hey, I emailed you 2 weeks ago. What we want to do is streamline that communication so that everyone's on the same page in real time. And the updates that are going back and forth are triggering notifications, or you have a log of that information within the system. Okay, so it's promoting that transparency that we're all looking for. In addition to that, one of the biggest questions I get, particularly over on the technical sales side, is, I don't want to have to onboard vendors into my account, so I don't have to train them. That's a real pain. The vendor portal is designed to make it easy and very intuitive, so that it doesn't take a lot of implementation, doesn't take a lot of training for them to learn how to log tickets and send feedback back to you. It happens very quickly. And again, we have a number of customers that are seasoned in this, onboarding many vendors across the board. So the real magic with this exists around, how this portal operates as an extension of eMaint. So imagine a maintenance task, right? And the vendor instantly, when you assign it to them, gets a notification that it's in their queue. They can acknowledge that the work is there. They can even track their performance. They can send you updates and even documentation through the portal as well. So it lets you as the eMaint user really take a more proactive approach to vendor management. So when you send them work, again, they can keep you up to date. So another area to highlight as well is that there's this peace of mind aspect to it, where they're only seeing what's relevant to them. So when a vendor is assigned a work order and they sign into the portal, they're only seeing work that's assigned to them, no more, no less. So it really does help to comply with those IT requirements that you'll hear about is, hey, we don't need them rooting through and seeing any of our parts inventory or any of our contacts. They're only going to see what's assigned to them and then close it out. So in a nutshell, this vendor portal saves time, it reduces stress, and makes your maintenance operations far more efficient. So let me just take you on a quick tour through the vendor portal, which I have running in the background here. The vendor portal itself is fairly simple and intuitive, like I mentioned. So when you look at it, vendors will have access when you assign work to them to any of their closed work orders, so they can see their full history of what you've assigned to them, and maybe if they see there are repeated issues, again, this is a great way to access it. Completed work orders are really just exactly that, what they've completed, but they haven't been closed out yet, which could be something that either maybe they're invoicing or maybe it needs a secondary review. This is a middle ground between open and closed. And then open work is exactly that. It's work that's been assigned to them, and vendors can get an email notification if there is something that's been assigned. They can go in, they can update records here with their comments, any other details that they need on this service, and that will send directly back to your full base eMaint system. The best part is that you can control what fields and information they access and what they send back to you, what's required, right? So if they have to put in their own comments, great. If you want them to go through and indicate their labor, time, they can do that as well. And you can pick and choose between, say, you want them to actually include parts charges, or more likely than not, they're just sending you, hey, we spent $200 on parts, and that's something we'll be billing for later. So over time, when you're looking at this, it's really just creating a back and forth dialogue with the vendor. So that way you're getting accurate information and they're not just sending you a bill 6 months down the line. All right. Now, let's go back into, say, cycle counting. I'll pull this up here. Now, cycle counting. Let's talk about it. So when you think about cycle counting, for those of you who are already familiar with it, you know it's a systematic way to keep your inventory accurate, and in addition to that, keeping your operations running smoothly. And you do that by breaking down counts into smaller segments or batches. Okay, now what makes using this tool so powerful is the structure it provides to someone who's going through and actually counting the different parts in different locations, making sure that history is useful. So now with this cycle counting tool, eMaint can house the management of these cycle counts, ensuring counts are done correctly. You can actually track progress. So you can see, we have 10 line items, only 5 have been counted. And what it does is it centralizes all of that data in one place. So instead of relying on manual processes, walking around the clipboard or with spreadsheets, everything is connected. It's organized within the system. So it's not just, think of it this way, it's not just a tool, right, within the eMaint system. It's a way to stay on top of your inventory with minimal hassle and maximizing your reliability. So if we talk about the benefits of a tool such as the cycle counting piece of eMaint, first it's all about accuracy. So with regular counts, you can catch discrepancies or gaps before they become larger problems, right? Where you have to expedite parts, or you go through and realize you don't have something, that extends unplanned downtime or interrupts production. But also the insights you can get from a tool like this, they're invaluable. So by integrating cycle counting into your workflows, you get a clear picture of, how your inventories are being managed. You can see trends, usage rates, potential gaps, and all of this is visible at a glance, helping you make smarter decisions. So just think of it this way, you're not just managing inventory with this, you're improving your entire maintenance process. Now, the cycle counting tool is running in the background here, and it's actually a separate module of the eMaint system. But what it does is it fuses together your parts, your inventory, your parts reorder list, every interaction that happens around parts. Now, the cycle counting module is fairly to the point, right? You have the ability to configure the body of the cycle count. So it's going to go to Michael Mills, and it'll be verified by Mark down the road, right? Someone who's going to be notified once it's completed. On this related table is where you can see all of the different parts that are associated with this count, right? In this case, all of these are associated with my default or my main site. Now, it doesn't show how many are already there. You don't want someone just going through and matching all the inventory values. But I can go through and actually indicate all of my counts for each of these individual items. So I'll just say I have 35 of these, 10 of these. These I have 15. Now, when you save this, it doesn't go through and start kicking off workflows just yet. You do have the ability to go through and verify your counts. But what ends up happening is when you submit these, what ends up happening is it'll actually show you if there are issues, because what it wants to do is apply the accurate cost based on the batches that are available within the system, right? So it's a thread of the costs that are associated with these. What ends up happening is you can see any item that was miscounted or has a variation will show in this variance report, where you can see, again, if there were any discrepancies, the value of them, the percentages that are associated with them, as well as who is involved. So that way you have full transparency over these. Now, these counts, once they take place, they actually hit back to your inventory journal. So you can see over time, hey, we do a lot of these counts. These are the adjustments that were made, that were associated with them based on the cycle count within the system. Okay. So again, this is just a way to continuously update your on-hand values. Other adjustments and parts charges running in the background will make similar records. But again, this is a touch point to say at this point in time, we had 33 or 35, and that updates your inventory accordingly and reports. All right. Now, a very impactful area of the eMate system that's been evolving over more than the past couple of years, and I know Naveen's thrilled about this as well, but our eMate mobile app has been a very big strength for a lot of our users of the eMate system. And I say that because of the fact it allows you to take the work that's assigned to you with you on the go, whether you're online or offline. Now, we've said over a number of years now, and anyone who's interacted with eMate knows this, we say we're a very configurable system because what we want to do is match the business case and the use cases that you're doing today. You know, you've mapped out your entire maintenance and reliability program. We want to help to support that. And we don't want you to have to tailor those processes to the system. We want to tailor the system to you, as cheesy as that sounds. The eMate mobile app should be similar, right? And allow you that opportunity to really redefine how you're capturing data and information that you want to report on. So eMate Mobile that I'll show here does allow for you to actually go through and configure the app to have the fields and information you're looking to track. So I'll show you two items here, and then we'll touch on some other improvements. Now, the mobile app itself, I have running in the background, but whenever you're actually signed into the application itself, there's two things that I think are really heavily used. The first is the fact that in the background of our account here, we have our mobile admin portal. And what this allows you to do is pick and choose whether or not you want to actually have your configuration match the app, what's done in this portal, or what's actually within your eMate desktop account today. So what I mean by that is in the form design, form builder that a lot of you have used in the past, there's now a brand new option on those forms where for my assets, for example, over here on the right, you can actually specify if you want this to display on your mobile forms or not. Right? So what it does is it allows those fields to be displayed and interacted with. Similarly, if we're dealing with custom-related entities or related tables that are associated with the assets, for these as well, you can now pick and choose whether these display in the app as well. Right? So all the work that you do during implementation that we help to assist and configure will now be available on that mobile device. So just as an example, I'll give you a quick one. In the app itself, I'll sign in. And a few of these updates are going to display as well. But what ends up happening is in the app itself, it synchronizes all of your data. When I click on a record here, you'll see up at the top that you have all different related tables associated with work orders. Now, any related tables that you have configured or ones that you've enabled for mobile will now display on this right-hand menu as well, right? So a lot of times that'll be comments that are associated with a work order. Or my personal favorite is one around failure analysis, where whenever we do an actual work order, we can actually indicate now certain failure modes, problem types. You can even have a cascading list of different issues that are associated with this work order. What I'm getting to is it promotes that flexibility. So that way you're capturing this information. And in the background, hey, you're dealing with a bunch of the same issues. Let's drill into this dashboard here and start to see what type of problems and issues we're running into the most. So we have certain failure modes that we need to really dig into. Maybe we design them out of certain processes. Okay. All right. Now, back to this part of the system. Now, I won't go through every single, update and upgrade that we've had, but certain improvements around single sign-on, our e-signature, even mobile improvements as well around documentation on requests, single sign-on through mobile as well, the configurable mobile solution. These are just some of the highlights that we've hit over the past 6 months to a year. We will continue to send out release updates, upgrades, and notes that are associated with these as they come through. And then on top of that, we'll include them in our webinars going forward. But big things to come, especially around these releases. And I think that's where I'll hand it over to Naveen to discuss what's coming up next through the beginning of 2025.
Thank you, Mike. As we just talked about, there were lots of exciting updates that we've delivered over the course of 2024. Many of these have been based on feedback directly from our customers, many based on and how we feel the general market is trending, and that's based on all of these feedbacks and synthesizing what our customers tell us based on where the market's heading and where we see in general the CMMS asset management market space going. We have a thematic roadmap. So if you don't mind, Mike, going to the next slide, we can talk a little bit about our roadmap themes. So while as we just talked about, Mike mentioned we had 100+ different updates to eMain product platform delivered in 2024, ranging from updates to our platform, infrastructure updates to functional updates to new functional updates to mobile. So it's been a busy year for us, and 2025 will be no less. And instead of like having a long list of features to do, we've been working together with our customer to say, where are you headed as a business? What makes sense for you? How can we partner with you best in order to deliver a roadmap that's relevant to our customers as well as our prospects, right? And many of our customers, as we talk to them, they go, look, I mean, we partnered with eMain for a long time. We've grown from 5 sites to 50 sites. We've grown. We continue. Perhaps we have capabilities that we want to synthesize and formalize from one side, or maybe we want to take what's best practice and then apply that to a broader organization. So multi-site and then scaling from site to enterprise has been a big priority for us this year, and it will continue next year. And you'll see on the next slide how we are going to deliver some specific capabilities. No matter what, we have a dedicated user experience team who are focused on delivering user experiences specific for job roles. So if you go back, I apologize, Mike. So if you go back to the previous slide, what we do with our UX team is like we work together with our customers to say, look, if you're a requester, you may only require certain specific fields versus a technician who's using a mobile solution versus an administrator who requires like all access to the system. Our user experience team delivers updates that are specific for the end role and job requirements. So across the spectrum, our goal is to deliver roadmap updates that are either specific to what our customers are asking for or inspired by our industry. And last but not least, you'll also see, hopefully, if you attend Inforum this year, you'll see some very exciting proof of concepts around what we're building, leveraging a cloud as a platform. So it's not just for delivering new functionality; it's for leveraging tools that cloud delivers. Open source tools, maybe tools from AWS, our cloud providers, to say, can we accelerate AI use cases? Can we accelerate security type of functionality that our customers need? So anyway. Now we can go and show all of the features to our customers. So, but if you see the timeline slide that Mike was showing on the next slide, if we map all of these themes to what are some of the details that we are trying to bring to our customers? I'd like, instead of going through all of the details, I'd like to showcase the fact that this is a balance between different capabilities where we are working towards improving our multi-site capabilities that already exist to deliver. For example, you already have the ability today to define a part to exist across all sites versus single site. And then how do we think about everything in between, right? So it's a very complex set of rules that you may have to think about depending on how customers define their site hierarchy. So in general, standardizing best practices that will allow our customers to take something that applies to one site and apply to multiple sites, or use capabilities to standardize best practices is something that's important for us. On the industry capability side, we talked about the fact that life sciences, automotive, food and beverage, general manufacturing, these are heavily important industries for us. That doesn't mean that we only serve these customers. It means that we take what makes sense from these customers, in some cases heavily regulated, which applies to many different industries like oil and gas and utilities, and take those best practices and apply them to eMint as a platform. So we continue to do a lot of those things. So Michael talked about cycle counting. It doesn't matter if you're oil and gas, food and beverage, you will still want to do cycle counting. So we continue to work on those things. And finally, on UX and innovation, there's a whole plethora of updates that we intend to make around mobile, as well as AI, as well as security, that will continue to support you as a customer in not only supporting your specific end users, but also compliance and overall productivity requirements, right? So, and I would, as we go through this topic, Michael's going to talk more about Accelerate, but would encourage you guys to attend, because we will have some very exciting use cases, proof of concepts that we will talk about AI and mobile in the conference. So I will pass. Maybe I think there's another slide that I have to talk about. So I'll say let's go to that one, and then I will pass it over to Michael.
Absolutely. I think you need to highlight our latest partnership.
Thank you. Yeah. We can't do this alone, of course. So our goal is to make sure our customers get the most value out of a roadmap, not just our existing functionality. But another way that we continue to add value to our customers is through partnerships. And this year, if you had attended our Accelerate conference, we actually invited many of our customers, and we sent out an email saying like we are trying to partner with several customers. Would you want to come and give us feedback? And we had, thankfully, to our customers' participation and partnership, we had about 30, 40 customers participate in these activities. In fact, some of these customers are already benefiting from these partnerships. And a great example of that is Verizon. Majority of our customers that we talked to mentioned that a big percentage of their spare parts working capital is tied up in inventory, right? So inventory that may be obsolete, inventory that can be moved across sites, inventory that you don't even know if it exists because you have different nomenclature and naming conventions across different sites and organizations. So Verizon is a platform. It's a partnership that we've had, and very fruitful, where customers can reduce it to 10 to 12% of their working capital when it comes to spare part inventory. So if you have $10 million tied up in spare parts inventory, then a good $1 million to $1.5 million could be achieved through this AI-based optimization with eMint. So we would encourage you to reach out to your CSM for more details on this technology partnership. But there's many more things that we are bringing to the table, and for that, I will pass this over to Mike.
Absolutely. Thanks, Naveen. So I'll just reiterate. So one thing to note is that coming up in March 18th through the 20th, we have our annual Accelerate conference. The first day, the 18th, is the pre-workshop, pre-conference, which has training sessions. We'll have our entire training team there, along with a lot of our customer success team. And it also has our Thought Leadership Day. I attended this last year. It is great to hear from industry experts what they're seeing within different industries. Last year, they reviewed areas around AI and leveraging AI within the space of maintenance and reliability. And I'll tell you, it's a great networking event to be around your peers, be around if your customer success manager, being around different members of our team, and just hearing what they're working on and how they can help out with the problems that you have today. So I definitely encourage you. I'm a big fan of Austin, Texas. It is in Austin, Texas at the Fairmont. So I definitely either be looking into it now, or we also have the option to scan here for some additional information on the screen. So it is the biggest event of the year for us within Fluke Reliability, and we definitely look forward to seeing you there. Now, last but not least, we have a number of other virtual events that are taking place over 2025. Like I mentioned earlier in this session, is we want to have more of these throughout the year to make sure that you are kept informed, you're engaged, and you know exactly what's happening within our operations here, whether it be releases that have come out or looking forward to what's on our roadmap here. So after the session, we will be sending out a survey just to get some additional feedback on exactly that. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear less of? And how we're doing. So overall, again, anyone who's attending today, we definitely appreciate your time to let us walk you through this. And again, please fill out that survey afterwards. It's how we get better. But thank you again, and thanks, Naveen, for co-hosting today.